So, did I say hello? I said hello, but I'm not sure when this starts streaming. So, hi everyone. Today we're going to continue working on the static privacy-focused tweet embeds. Last week we got to the point where we have a working thing that looks like a tweet. It looks like an embedded tweet. It has nice styling and all of that stuff. You can see it right above me. Where we got stuck is that the OEmbed API that we're using doesn't return all of the metadata that we need. We don't get the author's avatar, we don't get the media, we don't get the number of likes, the number of retweets, and those kinds of things. So what we're gonna try to do today is use the Twitter API. I got my auth keys and all of that stuff ready. Um, we're going to try to use that to get the rest of the metadata that we need and then hopefully turn that into a Gatsby plugin. If all goes well, we're going to get all of this done today. And Kiwi is going to be... okay, no. Stay in there, Kiwi. Kiwi is going to keep us company and hopefully he won't scream super loud. Let me tweet this out really quick so people know to join. View event. Copy link. Cool. Absolutely nobody is watching yet. That's great. Paste, tweet. All right. Let's do this. So I'm going to go back to my smaller screen. So we're going to be using Twitter API version 2. And let's see first the fundamentals. So I haven't actually looked at that. I just want to see if there's a client that we can use so we don't have to figure everything out from scratch. New and more detailed media objects. Yes. Endpoints. Where are the libraries and clients? Tweet performance, tools and libraries. Client, libraries. Can't find what you're looking for. JavaScript, Node.js. Tools, get started with, okay, I don't need that. Really, there's no official JavaScript API. That sucks. Community. .NET, C++, Clojure, Cold Fusion. We don't need any of those. Where's JavaScript? JavaScript SDKs, Twitter v2, Twitter Lite. Let's see. Twitter Lite, does that support tiny full-featured flexible client server library for the Twitter API? Promise driven via async await. We have built this library because existing ones have not been recently maintained. All of this is old. Okay, we're gonna try it and we'll see how it goes. So we're gonna use Yarn Twitter Lite. We're gonna create a new client. What's the easiest way to try this out? We're gonna need to make a new project. So we're gonna go into my random coding directory, make dir Twitter experiment, and we say go into Twitter experiment yarn init. So we're initializing a project, trying out tweet embeds and fetching data. Entry point index.js, whatever. The author is me, MIT license. Okay, cool. So we've got that. And we say yarn add Twitter Lite. So we're going to try that. Twitter Lite. We're going to try that one first and just see what kind of data we get. And then we can turn it into the Gatsby plugin version. So random coding, Twitter Lite, where are you? No, Twitter experiment. And we make a new file called index.js. Later, new index.js, import Twitter from Twitter Lite. Const client equals new Twitter, which demands what? Let's save that as index.js. Index.js, okay, come on. So does it tell us what we need? Import Twitter, come on. Load those things faster. App versus user, higher rate limits, great for building your own Twitter app. Yes. App authentication requires the bearer token. I'm going to so that I don't have to show you all of this, I'm going to import the bearer token from /secrets.json, and I'm gonna create that file. So it's the bearer token, come on, bearer token. I'm gonna paste it. Hey Miha, how are you doing today? Wow, what am I doing? Secrets.json. Oh, nice. What are you working on these days? So I'm gonna hide my screen for just a little bit so that you guys don't see my app token. That means I have to open Notion, which is gonna be slow as heck because my computer is busy with the streaming. Come on. Ooh, nice. What are you releasing? Bearer token. So I have that down here. Twitter API keys. Bearer token. I hope I don't need to refresh that ever. Okay. So now I should be able to show you my screen again, and you won't steal my absolutely important secrets. Okay. So we get the bearer token, and then verifying credentials example. Okay, so we're going to try that. I'm gonna say async function verify credentials just so we can see that this works. And we say const result equals client.get await client get count / verify credentials, and we'll see if that works. And we console log this thing, console log result. Why is Prettier not formatting this normally? That's weird. Okay, so I've got that. Now I can run index.js. To load an ES model set type module in the package or use the MJS extension. Oh my God, are you seriously gonna shake me with that? Okay. Let's try type module then. Type module. And try running that again. Unknown file extension. Unknown file extension.json. Can we no longer import JSONs? Oh, do I have to do it like this? Const bearer token require secrets.json. Although I'm gonna need to run this with normal stuff anyway, so we're gonna say const Twitter that equals require Twitter Lite, and we go back to package JSON, remove the type module part. So Node is kind of in a weird what's it called? Node is in a weird transitionary period where they're deciding how to import stuff, which is why this is all weird and annoying right now. Okay. I forgot to actually run stuff. Verify credentials. Let's run that. Node index.js. Unhandled promise rejection. Error originated by throwing inside of an async function. Cool. App authentication example. Interesting. So we do need to try that. So we're gonna get the bearer token first, and apparently we're gonna need to get a fresh bearer token every time. So we say user client, and then we say consumer key and consumer secret goes into the Twitter client. I'm gonna put those in my secrets JSON. Oh, do I have to call it that way? I don't think I do. Okay, we'll try. By the way, what kind of VS Code extension are you building? Consumer secret. And then I'm gonna hide my screen again so that I can paste secrets around. And then I will go grab the bird because he's being loud in the background. Please let me know how loud he is on the actual stream because I don't know. JSON. Come on, computer, let me type normally. Consumer key, consumer secret. Alrighty then. I'm gonna show you my screen again. There we go. Okay, so user client new Twitter. Then we say async function get token, which is going to run. Let's do it this way. Let's just copy directly what they're doing. Const user. Come on, format this shit. Response. I think he just woke up my girlfriend. Nope, he didn't. Okay, console log app just to see if it's working. And we're gonna call get token, or actually get app client. We're gonna call it get app client because that's kind of what it's doing. Node index.js. Cool. I think we got the client and I think it worked. I will be right back just grabbing the bird so he doesn't wake up my girlfriend downstairs. All right. Here you go, Kiwi. I will feed you treats so that you behave nicely. Kiwi, here. No, Kiwi, come here. He is not playing ball today at all. Okay, so where was I? Oh, nice. Okay, extension for editing files. So why does an editor need an extension for editing files? So tweeting a thread, streams, support for Twitter APIv2. Aha. So we've got that. Okay, so for v2 endpoints, we're gonna say that this is version 2 and the extension is false. So let's try if that still works. Cool, we get the client. And now we're going to try to get a tweet. Return app. So, and we're gonna say async function get tweet. And we're gonna get the tweet ID. And let's see. Should we get the client in advance? We should memoize the client, I think. Okay, so we're gonna try to memoize the client. We're gonna do that in the get app client function. So say const client equals await get app client, like that. And we're gonna be memoizing that later so that it's faster. So then we need to get what is the endpoint for getting tweets. So the new Twitter API, tweet lookup. We go to tweet lookup, we can, okay, API reference, that seems like the quickest way to figure this out. So we just get a tweet/ID. So we're gonna say const tweet equals await client.get tweets/tweet tweet ID, and we will see what that gets us. Console log tweet, and then I'm gonna run the function down here using this tweet that we were using before for testing. So we say get, come on, get tweet, we paste in the ID, and I think that should work. Let's try it out. Node index.js. Cool. So we got the text, we got the data, we got the text. Now, how do we get all of the, like, how do we get all the metadata and stuff? Aha, tweet ID, parameters, expansions. So we can get the media fields, place fields, poll fields, tweet fields, user fields. Okay, let's try getting user fields. So if I do this, then I can say user.fields. Are there any instructions here for doing that? Screen name, query parameters. Query parameters. Get bearer token, get request, examples. Let's see. Okay, it's an enum. So user.fields, profile image URL. So that's gonna be useful. And then do tweets normally link to the user? Yes, they do. So we are actually, so because we're not going to be using the embed API anymore, we're just going to be using this. We need to get the other stuff for the user as well. Let's see. Oh my God, I need to go kill the bird. So we're going to need description, entities, name, username, and URL. Let's see what happens if we run this. So I should get more data now. No? Okay, hold on. Let me just grab the bird. Okay, the bird has been put to bed so he doesn't wake up the whole house. Now, how the hell do I do this? How do I get query params working here? So query parameters, get endpoint parameters, show. Let's try it this way. We say tweets, and then here we're gonna say ID is tweet ID, and then we say, oh, maybe we have to say it like this. User, and let's see, how does this work? User and response, so those are response fields. Expansions, does anyone know how do I get these? So place.fields. This fields parameter enables you to select which specific place fields will deliver. Tweet fields, user fields. Let's see, how do fields parameters work? Aha. Okay. So let's try. Oh, actually, maybe it might be easiest to go see how the code works for this. So let's go here, and we're gonna look at, do we have any examples? No, no examples of using the fields. So let's look at how this actually works. Twitter.js. Hey Ray, how are you doing today? How do they construct these parameters? Get bearer token, get request token, get make request resource parameters. So how does make request work? Make request parameters, method resource parameters, query string stringify parameters. Aha. So it is like this. We're gonna say, let's try that. So we're gonna say here, come on, tweet.fields. We're gonna add public metrics. And let's see if that changes the response. Node without a catch block. So what was the error? Let's try catching the error. Catch E console log error. Nice. What kind of features are you working on for POW? Invalid request. One or more parameters to your request was invalid. The query parameter ID is not one of IDs. It's not one of IDs, expansions, tweets. Okay. So what if we change that? Let's go back to this incantation, which seems to work better. Now let's try that. Node index.js. Cool. So now we got the public metrics. So that's what we wanted. Now let's do user fields, which is also what we needed. User.fields. We're gonna have name. Let's try. What happens if we run that? Name. So why aren't user fields showing up? Tweet fields worked, but user fields aren't. User.fields, username. That is so weird. Okay. Let's try. Able to request additional data objects that relate to the original return tweet. Submit a list of tweets. The tweet author's user object. Okay, so let's try that then. We're gonna say expansions, and we're gonna list attachments, author ID, reference tweets ID, author ID. What? Let's try author ID. See what that gets us. So we now get the author ID, but can I get the full author? What if I just say author then? Oh, cool. Okay. Value author is not one of author ID, reference tweets, entities, mentioned media keys in reply to user. Okay. Conversation ID of tweet fields. So tweet fields. Why is this so hard? Oh, okay. So we need to also have an author ID. Hey Mario, how are you doing? So we need to have the author ID here, and then we have to say user.fields and add name and username. Let's see if that works. Node index. Aha. Okay, so now we have, yeah, user fields don't work. Something you, oh, nice. I'm happy you're finally taking my recommendation, Ray. I've, in my, what's it called? In my experience, the whole encapsulating complexity into hooks works really well. I'm actually thinking about writing an article about that, or article, email, blog, whatever, specifically about that. Okay, so it looks like we now have the user, and I need to remember how to print the full object. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see. Node print full object, and the reason I'm doing that is because we're gonna use that to then go cheat in the other experiment that we started with. You'll see. It's, oh yeah, require util. I wish they just built this into Node itself. Where's this one? Util inspect false null true. I will never remember that. Util inspect tweet false null true. And let's try printing that. And now we'll see more data. So we have all the headers that we don't need, but we have the ID of the tweet. We have the public metrics that we needed, the text, the author ID, and then the name and the username. And we also are going to take name, username, URL, and profile image URL. So we're gonna get all of that stuff. So we're gonna be able to show it in the fake tweet that we're creating. Cool, that worked. The next thing we need is all of the media files. So attachments. So let's do it. Let's do this. We're gonna need, oh, no, under the expansions, attachments.media keys, and then we say media.fields are going to be type preview image URL. And I think that's everything we need there. So let's see, do we get all the data? Cool. So we have users, public metrics, author ID, includes, wait, no, there should be media fields here. Oh, wait, I scrolled up too far. Media fields query parameter preview image URL is not one of preview image URL. Okay, I'm gonna copy paste that because apparently I don't know how to type. What if we don't use a space? Okay, so not using a space seems to work better. Cool. So we have media key type photo, but we don't have the image preview image URL. We will, however, get the URL itself. Node index.js, will that work? Cool. Okay, so we've got the, so we were able to figure out the incantation for the Twitter API that's gonna get us a tweet or everything we need to render a tweet. Now we're gonna take that, put it as a, make it into a JSON blob so that we can use it on the other side and try to go reconstruct this tweet using custom CSS and plain HTML so that we can then put that in a Gatsby plugin. And I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, I'm gonna have a write-up. Probably I'm gonna write it right after this. So I'm gonna console log this as a JSON stringify of the tweet. Node index.js. Oh, and here we're gonna actually return the tweet. Take the JSON blob and we go into the other file. Actually, do I want it as a JSON? No, I don't want it as a JSON. I want it to be nicely printed. So we don't need this console log anymore. We're gonna take this entire object because it's probably valid JavaScript, so we can just paste it in. And I'm gonna open the file that we had. Static tweet test. Cool. So we have the CSS we have from before. Oh, you know what we're gonna need? We don't know when the tweet was created, but do we care when the tweet was created? We do care when the tweet was created. So let's try that again. The tweet, media fields, place fields, poll fields, tweet fields, created at. So I'm gonna go here. We're gonna add tweet fields. We're gonna add created at, non-public metrics, promoted metrics, possibly sensitive, reference tweets, reply settings, source text. Oh, interesting. Good. Let's try it again. Node index.js. Oh, God damn it. Console log util.inspect tweet true, false, null. No, null, false, true. False, null, true. I was almost there. False, null, true. Okay, run that again just so that we get the right thing. So now we're gonna have actually all of the data that we need. I think. Yeah, ID created that, media, perfect. And the user. Okay. Then we go into the static tweet test. And up here where we have the embed, we're going to ignore that. And we're going to say const tweet equals that stuff. We can ignore the headers because we don't need them. So we have the tweet. And now we're going to take data out of the tweet to recreate the static HTML. So the author image is going to be, so instead of embed, we're going to have the handle is going to be, let's see. So here where it's where was it saying handle? It's going to say tweet dot. Let's see. Do we have the author ID here? Yes. So we're gonna have to find the author. Const author equals tweet.users.find user where user.id equals tweet.author ID. So because we can get a list of multiple users and we can't rely on the idea that the first user is always the author, we're going to use a find to actually get the correct element, the correct item out of the array. So now that we have the author, we can change this to author HTML. And down here, no, go away. Down here we say author. Come on. Let me type author.html, which is going to come. The URL comes from author.url, and then the image is author.profile image URL. The name is author.name, and then the handle is author.username, because that way, that's how we get the top of the portion. So I'm going to test this to make sure it's correct. So we should get, this should look pretty much the same as it did before. Identifier tweet has already been declared. Of course it has. So we say this is the tweet HTML. Tweet HTML. Tweet HTML. Okay. Reload. Cannot read property find of undefined because it's tweet.includes.users. Tweet includes users. Load page. Cannot read property URL of undefined. Why? Tweet dot, oh, because it's tweet.data.author ID. Of course it is. Tweet.data.author ID. Reload page. Cool. So the top now looks the same, with the main difference being that we're getting the correct correct author profile picture from the API, not from, we didn't guess it. Okay, so we have the author HTML. Now we need the tweet HTML, which comes from here. We're just gonna get the text. Yes. And then I think this is the actual embedded image, right? Yep. Okay. So the tweet HTML is gonna come from here. We say, did we say this was gonna be called tweet.data.text? Tweet.data.text, and we're going to replace any links, anything that looks like this gets replaced with nothingness. So we escape these URLs and replace that with nothingness. So we should now have the tweet HTML. Perfect. Now the next thing we need is, should we link these guys? Let's see, what does this do? Oh, it does link. We can deal with that later. So now let's do the media. For the media, let's embed here the media HTML. So for media, we're going to say const media HTML equals. We're just going to go through the includes and embed stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. So media HTML is a div. It has class of embeds, and we go through tweet dot, is it attachments? Tweet dot, no, tweet dot includes dot media. Tweet dot includes dot media, and we iterate over that. Yeah, we iterate, and each one of them is going to return media, build media from media, or get media HTML. I'm starting to think that it would be a lot easier if I did this with React, but I didn't. And then we join that with an empty one. We need a function called media HTML that I'm gonna put up here. Function media HTML that gets the media and is going to return, let's see, we're going to return image source is media.url, like that. Or actually we're gonna say media dot, what did we call it? Was it preview URL? Because I think that's for if you have videos. preview image URL, media.preview image URL, or media URL. So actually, we don't need this function. So we're gonna yeah, here that's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna call the whole thing get. So media HTML, it comes from tweet dot, what was it called? Tweet dot, goddamn, tweet dot includes dot media. Includes dot media. So that's going to be a function that generates the HTML. Return tweet includes media, and then gets an image tag for each of them. And in the end, we join it all. Why is this not prettifying? Okay, I don't know what's going on with my prettier, but it's messing things up. Okay. Let's see if that works. So we should now get two images here. Media HTML is already, let's say, build media list. Build media list, build media list. Will this make it work? Cool. So now we got really, really big images. So we're going to use the power of CSS to fix this. So what we're looking for is to make it look like this. So we go here into the CSSs and we say div.static tweet embed dot, did we call it embeds? I think we called it embeds. Let's call it media instead. Div class media, author dot media, and we're gonna say this is going to be display flex, max width 100%, and that should already have a big impact here. So there we go. Now, why is the flexiness so clearly I don't understand something about flex. Maybe we should display grid instead. Will grid make it work? No, grid doesn't make it work. I think it needs to be flex, but then we need to figure out how we can tell flex to fit everything. Does anyone remember how to do that? Justify content center. Okay. Align items center. Align content center. How do I use flex to squeeze images into a max size? That's what I'm struggling with. Is it just with 100%? No. Flex squeeze items into size. Let's try that. Flex shrink. There we go. Flex shrink says the flex shrink factor. There we go. So that's what we need. So we say flex shrink 1. No. Oh, does it need to be on items? Global values? Yeah, I think it needs to be on the actual item. Oh, it copies flex shrink one. Okay, so display flex, and then let's do the static tweet embed dot media image. Here we say flex shrink one. Why is like prettier is just not working? With 100%, and we say border. I'm gonna add a border 1 pixel solid red just so we can see if the if we're actually detecting stuff. Okay, so we are detecting stuff. Yes, at my day job, I do primarily React. Flex shrink. No. Okay, what if we try, instead of flex shrink, what if we actually try doing this with grid? Because I think grids might make it easier. So I'm gonna reload, and we're gonna say display grid column auto. Oh, because I'm not wrapping what? Okay, so div static tweet embed dot media image max width 100%. So I think that's still not going to work. So that still doesn't fit both of them. I think we do need to use columns. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to layout it, and we're going to steal their grid layout. So interface builder for CSS Grid and Bootstrap. Go to the CSS Grid Generator, and we say we need one column with possibly that. Get the code. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's see, display grid template columns, one fro. Oh, but that's not gonna work in case there's only one of them. Let's try what Ray is saying, because I am clearly not as good as this as I thought I was. Let's look up flex basis. Is flex shrink? Flex basis auto. So where do I put flex basis? Display flex basis. Let's do flex basis content with 100% and see what happens there. Nope, that didn't work. So where do I actually put the flex basis? That's what I'm curious. Container. Oh, so it's the, wait, container, display flex wrap, because that's true. I do need that. Flex wrap, and then flex basis. Aha, and then the content gets that. So div static tweet embed dot media image I'm gonna add a border so I know that I'm touching it. Oh, wow, we're gonna run out of time, right? Very soon. And we say flex basis is content. And we'll see what that does. Okay, so that's still not working. Flex direction is row. Content, let's see. What does min content and max content do? Fit content. Let's try doing fit content. Nope. So it's just not working. Oh, there we go. So flex direction row. And then why is this not resizing itself? Flex basis fit content. Invalid property value. What if I do it here? Flex basis fit, no. Okay, so content doesn't actually work. Flex basis 50%. Nope. Yeah, so the problem is that I don't know the width and height for the image, and I can't calculate them based on percentages because I don't know how many images there are. Actually, I do know how many images there are. Here's what we can do. Here is what we can do. So we can go in here and say, we can add a width manually. So we're going to add a source, and then const width equals we can say actually media.length. If that's more than 1, we set width to 50%, otherwise we set it to 100%, because you know they go into a grid of 4 if there's more than a certain number of them. We say width equals width, right? So now it's gonna all fit. There we go. So now they're all fitting. Now we need to add the paddings here and the border radiuses. Oh, come on. Come on, computer. Image div. How much is the border radius? That's what I'm curious about. Jesus, my computer is so slow right now. So, okay, the margin on top is 12 pixels. We can do that here. Media margin top 12 pixels. Oh, and then here we can say border radius is, what does that looks like, 20 pixels? What is border radius elsewhere? Border radius 12 pixels, okay. 12 pixels, and we say overflow hidden. Right? Let's see if that worked. So reload the page. Okay, that looks much better already. We're not squeezing them, but that's fine, I think. Now let's add the metadata at the bottom. So HTML. Then we say created at HTML, which is going to be const created at HTML is a span, and we're going to let's just try formatting it. So the date comes in as created at. So we say new date tweet dot data dot created at, and let's see what that stringifies as. So put that down here. Cool. We're going to, let's do it to locale string. What do we get? There we go. I guess that's good enough, right? Or should we say to locale time string? Does that give us the time? Okay, so we say to locale time string, and then yeah, so that's gonna be good enough for now. I don't need it to be absolutely perfect, I think. And to locale date string, like that. Ugh, I really don't like those. But I don't feel like, okay, well, that's a solvable problem. We can just use date functions later on. What we do need to do though is the color. So actually this needs to be a div as well. Div class equals time. And now we're going to borrow the styling for that. Div static tweet embed dot time. We go here and we borrow the styles. Yep. Okay, so computed. Let's look for color. Color is RGB 91 112 131. And then we say font size is 15 pixels. Like that. Yeah, why is my prettier is just not doing anything right now? I wonder what's going on. Font style, font variant, line height 20 pixels. And what else do we need? We're also gonna need, I think that's it. Does it have any margins or stuff? Oh, it's a link. Okay, so it needs to be a link to the tweet. How do I get a link to the tweet? Can't believe I don't have that. So here from the API, we get reply string, source text, promoted metrics. How do I get a link to the tweet? That's funny. Okay, we can figure that out later. So got that. Where was I? Oh yeah, we need to reload this to see if it looks better. It does. It does seem to need some padding or some margin or something. Aha. So this is using a grid, and the height of this grid is border flex direction. Height is 32 pixels. Okay, so for the time, we're gonna say height 32 pixels. Oh, that's the wrong one. I'm gonna reload this one here. What if we just say line height 32 pixels? That's gonna be so much easier. Cool. So that looks better now. We do need to turn it into a link. So I'm gonna go down here. Where is it? created at HTML. It's going to be href equals la and a. Now, how do I get the link for the tweet? Let's see. If I go to twitter.com/id, does that work? No. Okay, so what is the URL here? Twitter.com name status. Okay. So we're gonna say const tweet URL equals https twitter.com/ author dot, what did we say? Author dot username / tweet dot data dot id, okay, / status. So that's the tweet URL, and we can use the tweet URL down here. Okay, let's see. Cool. Now we need to make the do it like this. So we say that the URL is like that, and we say text decoration is none. Text decoration none, and then on hover it needs to have decoration, right? Yep. Computer, why are you slow? A hover text decoration underline. Cool. Okay, so that's working. Now the next step, let's see, where was I? Now the next step is going to be actually setting the metadata, showing the metadata for likes, retweets, and so on. Now it's been an hour already, so I'm gonna pose a question to the group. Should I keep going for another hour and see if we can get this actually finished and running, or should I split here, publish a write-up today, and then we can continue next week where we left off? I'm gonna keep going for another couple of minutes while somebody says stuff in the chat room. It's hard to judge how long these streams should be. All right. So Micha wants me to continue today. Anyone else? All right. So whatever. Let's just continue, and then we can always publish a longer write-up next week. Okay. So we've got, or maybe tomorrow. Let's see. Got this parts, build media list, blah, tweet URL, author URL created at HTML. Nice. I'm background music for Ray. Okay. So let's now do the likes and the retweets and the replies and stuff. So how do we do those? We're gonna make the stats HTML, and the stats HTML is going to be, I do need to restart my VS Code because the whole prettier situation is bugging the shit out of me. All right, come on. Come on, computer. Wow. VS Code is taking a while to start up. Okay. I think VS Code crashed. It's just not opening. Okay, let's try that again. VS Code, come on. Also, it feels really weird not to have made any commits or anything like that. I'm not a fan of that. Maybe we should move this code out of little experiment projects and into the real thing soon. Yes, release notes. I don't care. Okay, so it's still running the... Cool. So now will you prettify? No? Okay. Prettier does not like me today. Let's see. Where was I? So we want to have, we need the stats HTML. So say const stats HTML equals, this is going to be a new div called stats, and it's going to have, what is it going to have? We need the, do we need retweets as well? Let me look at my homepage, serverlesshandbook.dev, and we'll see what the actual embeds look like. Do they show retweets? Okay, come on, load. See, this is why I want to use static embeds, because this is bullshit. Like, come on, Twitter, load. There we go. Okay, so it doesn't show embeds. It only doesn't show retweets. It shows likes and replies. Cool. All right. So we can do that. Let's see. Stats HTML. We're going to start with the likes, which we have here. Reply count, like count, quote count. So we say tweet dot, was it dot data? Tweet dot data dot public metrics, data public metrics dot tweet public metrics dot like count, and then so these are both, are they going to be spans? What should they be? This would be a lot easier if I was using React, but here we are. And the reason I'm not using React, so the reason I can't use React here is because this is going to run in build mode for Gatsby or potentially for Next.js, and it needs to return raw HTML because it's working in MDX or in Markdown. It's not supposed to make any assumptions with that. So it needs to return raw HTML, which is why this part is annoying. And it would be interesting to use like a small build step within a plugin that takes JSX and turns it into, that's an idea for another day. First, let's get this done. Because you could technically do render to HTML. Public metrics dot reply count. So that's going to show up down here now, 18 and 2, perfect. Then we're going to steal the SVG for this because we can. So SVG, I'm going to take this and say edit as HTML. And we put in the hearts SVG. Now the heart likes SVG. Likes SVG. Which we're gonna, where do we take it? So up here, const likes svg equals blah, and then we have const replies svg, which is also going to be a blah. Come on. So edit as HTML, copy replies svg. So likes svg and then the replies svg. Let's see. So that's going to show up there. Cool. They are huge. So now we gotta make them smaller. We go back into the CSS and we say div static tweet embed dot stats svg. The svg sizes are going to be, how big are these guys? 32. Width is 32 pixels. Or actually, let's go with height. Height is 20 pixels. So that should improve the sizing here. Cool. We now have 18 and 2. Then we say stats is going to be, what? Come on, computer, stop messing with me. Stats, display flex, line items center. See. Okay, so that makes them aligned. Now I need to turn this into links and use some styling to make it look better. So each of them should be a link. Oh, actually, they need to be even more flexy. How do we do this? Okay, so we're gonna say that these guys have, oh damn, these are very complicated links. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna turn each of them into a link. Okay, I don't know, they're gonna be web intents, I guess. No, wrong place. So here, yeah, I would really love to be using React for this. So Relax svg a ref blah and a, and then here we have a ref blah and a. We say a ref class is like, and class is going to be reply. Oh, looks like my camera ran out of battery. Okay, am I back? No. Oh, come on. Software, stop crashing. Camera live. There we go. Okay, I'm back. So we get the likes and the replies, and I need to style them a bit more. So let's see. Div static tweet embed dot stats a dot like is going to be color inherit text decoration none, and the color is going to be the same as it was above. Okay, so got that. And we need to, oh, right. So then the A's need to be display flex as well. So the anchor tags, display flex, come on, display flex, and align items center. Okay, and we say justify content space between. So we're gonna do space between, and we're gonna add the width. Say the width is, how much is this width here? Width. So I'm trying to figure out how wide each of these anchor tags is. Come on, show me the computed. I know it. Oh, okay. 48 pixels, that could work. No, that's 516. Cool. So that's SVG with 48 pixels. Let's see what happens. So I should now have better styled thingies. Yep, that looks better, I think. But the other one is not 48 pixels wide, is it? .44. So it's not based on that kind of width. Okay, so we're gonna say justify content space between. No. Instead, the SVG is gonna have a margin on the right. So they're using grid to do this, I think. But I want to do it with okay. So they're actually 32 pixels, the SVGs. Cool. 32 pixels with 32 pixels. And I don't know why my prettier is being a bitch. So the SVG is 20 pixels, but then the bounding box around the SVG is 32 pixels. That's annoying. That's okay. So we're gonna add a padding for 12 pixels and see if that makes it look nice. It does make it look nice. Perfect. So we have the padding and we have those things. Do we need, it needs to move to the left a bit more than we have it. See, ours is kind of shoved to the right. Actually, honestly, no, it's not fine. So we're gonna say the first child padding left 0 pixels. Will that make it look better? It does. Okay, so we've got that. Then we need a margin on the right. So how much margin do we have here? A tags have a 20 pixel margin on the right. Margin right, 20 pixels. And then we need the hover effect, and then we're pretty much done. So they both have color inherit, text decoration none, like that. And is the SVG, what's the SVG color? I need to figure that part out. So SVG has a line color here somewhere. Path, with path is going to have a fill color. So SVG, take this and we say SVG path fill is RGB 91 112 131, like that. So cool, that looks nice now. Now the hover effects. So stats dot like hover. So a like hover, the SVG path is going to have a fill color of what? So there, I think we're kind of getting into too many details here, but it's okay. A like color. Let's see, how do I find that? I need to find the correct red color. Styles. Can we find the hover color? Aha, hover. Force element state hover. Oh, that's cool. It doesn't seem to be doing anything though. Color. That's not. Forcing hover states isn't working. Wah. Can we filter for hover? Nope. Oh. So it looks like Twitter is using JavaScript to make the hover effects instead of CSS, which means they suck. And it also makes it hard for us to steal their colors and stuff. So we can't borrow from that, but we can just kind of make it reddish. Or we can, what can we do? Oh, I know what we can do. We're going to try to be sneaky about it. So we're going to find the exact element that we're looking at. This one. And look at computed. Go down to the color and see if it changes. Color RGB 2243694. RGB 2249694, was it? I think that's what it was. Let's try again. Scroll. Where are you? Color. Yeah. Oh, 3694. Okay. 3694. And now let's see if that works. So reload the page. Aha. You see it turns nice and red. So we're going to use that for the link as well. Okay, like hover color becomes that. Color and text decoration underline. Come on, prettier, please work. Right, so now when you hover over this, you get a nice effect. Now we're gonna do the same for the replies count, and I'm gonna call that good enough. Reply hover SVG path. So we go here, and we're gonna look for this. We're gonna do the same trick again. So we go here, we look for the span, we look at the color, come on, color, and then mouse over, 29, 161, 242. 29, 161, 242. Yeah, was that it? Let's verify. Yep, got it right. Cool. So we take that, and we're now gonna have correct, or at least good enough, hover effects on the stats. Nice. We can actually reduce the padding a little bit. because I don't like how this looks and because this is for my websites. So SVG padding, we can turn it to 10 pixels and I think that's going to look a little better. Cool. Now the stats need a top border to make them for this part here. So let's see, what is the, actually I know what the color is. So stats, we're going to say border top is 1 pixel solid RGB. We're going to take the 91, the one that starts with 91, because that's the one they've used on everything. Come on. Okay. Where are you? Ah, god damn it. Wrong typo. Cool, so we have the path. That does not look nice. So I'm just gonna skip that because we don't need it. But we do need to get the intent URLs. So how do we make those links? If I click on this, we go to twitter.com intent like with the how do we get an intent link? Let's see if the API can tell us that. Tweet intent. If we look at the documentation for intent, web intent, let's go. So the web intent URL. So we say like has a like intent. So we're gonna clean up this code in a little bit. Now we're still just setting it up. So it's https twitter.com/intent/ like web intent URL, Twitter username of the account you would like the viewer to follow. Oh, why web intents? Okay, how did I end up on such a specific weird page? Web intents like a tweet. For liking is blah. So we just need a tweet intent like question mark tweet ID equals with the tweet. So the tweet ID is we said tweet.data.id. So that's going to be the like intent const reply intent is https twitter.com/intent/reply, right? Follow optimization. What is this? What is the intent here? If I click on, close this, go here, I click. So that, what is that? What does that do? So I'm waiting for the tweet to load, and it looks like that doesn't do anything. What? So we say, oh, come on, I didn't try to click on that. Stupid computer. Just show me what the code says. Edit as HTML. Adam Rakes. Okay, I don't know what that does. Wait, so if I click on this, what happens? I get redirected with a ref source and it goes directly to his thing. Is there no reply intent? Interesting. So since there's no reply intent, I'm gonna just link it to the tweet URL because I think that makes the most sense. Because that way you can reply to the tweet on the web if that's what you want it to do. All right. So we've got this. We can now click on this and it's gonna do a like intent, right? Intent like tweet. It's gonna show me the thing. Perfect. Cool. And then if I click on this, it's gonna go to the URL, or it's supposed to. No? Oh, because I did not put it in the code. Okay. Awesome. So we've gotten to the part where we have a pretty decent tweet. I think we've reconstructed a relatively decent tweet. I might need to tweak a few things. So now I'm gonna go grab some more water. Excuse me. And then we're gonna put this in the original Gatsby plugin that we started building. And we're gonna optimize it a little bit so that, it doesn't croak when it's trying to embed stuff. So that's gonna be fun. I'll be right back to like 1 minute. All right, that took way less than a minute. It was more like 20 seconds. I need to. Oh, I know what I need to do. We need to adjust the paddings here. This part is wrong because we don't get it by default anymore. Haha. So here where we have the tweet HTML, this needs to see here where we had the block quote, we need to actually render the tweet HTML as block quote. And then it's going to work correctly. So we say block quote, tweet data text, and block quote. Reload. No, that's the wrong page. Reload this page. There we go. So that looks nice. Does it need more padding? It does need more padding. Aha. So this thing has a bottom padding. The author HTML has a bottom padding of 12 pixels. Author, where are you? Author padding bottom 12 pixels. All right. So that now looks like a legit tweet. So I'm gonna quickly post this. Great progress. So I'm just gonna take a lazy screenshot using my phone because, lazy. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm taking. Oh, so that's why I never get any viewers. I wonder why that link doesn't work. Thank you, Ray. Telegram. Static tweet from API. Okay, so done my social media posting. Now let's turn this into the Gatsby plugin that I've always been talking about. So the first thing we're going to need to do is take the code that actually gets the tweet actually gets the tweet. So I'm going to go to my course platform, and I'm doing this as a plugin of a plugin of a plugin. So it's going to be a little hacky. And then if it works, or depending on how well it works, we can later turn it into a more correct implementation. So I'm building it in. Come on, come on. Oh, did it finally finish loading? Perfect. So I am building this in the come on, where is it? Gatsby Config, YouTube transformer. Oh yeah, I need to change branches. Git branch. We are on static Twitter. Git checkout static Twitter. Right. So static Twitter embed. Come on. Okay, got it. Static Twitter embed. So now here we are getting, so the plugin of a plugin that we're building. The way it works is that it's parsing Markdown for us and then calling us on specific nodes to see if we want to do anything to that node. We have a function that detects whether this is a tweet, and if it's a tweet, it's going to run our code, and then our code is going to return the HTML that the rest of the Gatsby engine is going to use to embed stuff. So that's what we're going to be hacking on right now. So we have this stuff. I'm going to have to yarn add Twitter Lite. And then here we're going to copy paste the code that gets a tweet. So media fields, okay, we don't actually need the type of the media. So we also don't need to console log this stuff. Come on, computer, please please work. So we also don't need util, and we're gonna need to get the consumer key and consumer secret from somewhere else. Where do we get them from? I'm gonna put them in my .env file for now. So I'm going to see. So Gatsby config process.env Instagram embed token. Okay, I'm going to hide my screen for a little bit because I am dealing with secrets again. So I'm gonna open the file we had before with all of the secrets. Experiment secrets JSON. I hope that doesn't show you anything. Cool, it does not. So then I'm gonna open my .env file and just put them there for now so that I can hack around. Actually, no, I don't need to hack around. I'm gonna have to do that later. So in my serverless handbook, I'm going to say vim.env development. So put them there. We're gonna say Twitter consumer key equals blah and Twitter consumer secret equals blah. Paste them in. Okay. So I can now show you my screen again. Got the screen. Now we say consumer key comes from process.env.twitter consumer key, and consumer secret comes from process.env.twitter consumer secret. Okay, no more secrets JSON. So get app client we're now going to memoize it so that we don't initialize a new client and make API requests for the bearer token every time that we are embedding a tweet. So we say const Twitter client equals null, and then if it's defined, if Twitter client is defined, we return the Twitter client. Otherwise, we are going to define it here and then return it. So now we have a memoized function that if the value doesn't exist in global scope, it creates it, makes a new client, logs into Twitter, then saves it in global scope and returns it, so that we don't have to do that every time that we are embedding a new tweet. So we have the client, get tweet, gets the client, which currently takes secrets from process from the node environment. Later, we're going to move that into an actual Gatsby config. So gets the tweet, returns the tweet, and if there's an error, it doesn't do anything. So then get HTML. Now we're going to have to parse the Twitter URL. So let's see, is there any inspiration in the existing Gatsby plugin that could get us the ID? No. So Twitter URLs usually, let's see, const tweet ID equals Twitter URL dot split by slash, and if we take the last one, what's the easiest way to take the last one? I think it's pop. Let's try that. So we say 123 dot pop gives us the last one. Perfect. So dot pop gives us the last element after the slash, and the last element after the last slash should be the tweet ID. So then we say const tweet equals get tweet, await get tweet from the tweet ID. So we have the tweet now. Now we're going to return it. So get HTML. Once we have the tweet, we're going to turn all of this shit into a function. So build media list. Okay, so we can take the constants that we have up here. So we have the likes SVG and all that other stuff. Okay, memoized Twitter client instance. So we have the memoized Twitter client instance, then we have the build media list, we have the SVGs and stuff. This is where we start having trouble with, actually organizing code, and it would be nice to split it into multiple files, but I don't want to do that right now. Read read tweet from API, or fetch tweet from API, fetch tweet from API, build media list, get HTML. So then in static tweet test HTML, we need to get the author, we need to get the tweet URL, author HTML, tweet HTML. So I'm just gonna copy all of this stuff for now and put it here. Return build tweet HTML from the tweet, and we're going to make a function build tweet HTML that gets the tweet and then does stuff with it. So we return this. We have the author HTML, we have the tweet HTML, we have the media HTML, created that, stats HTML, and finally the last closing div, like that. And then we say we can keep this for now, and we're just gonna test it. So get the author, get the tweet URL, create the author HTML, the tweet HTML, media HTML, created that HTML. Actually, let's do this. Actually, no, we know this kind of works, so we're gonna keep it. And now what I'm gonna do is, how do I add? What can we do? So I need to, first of all, I'm gonna go into Gatsby Config and disable the Twitter JavaScript. So we're not gonna need that. And I want it disabled so that we know that it's not, accidentally being loaded. And then where do I put the styles? That's a great question. So these styles can go right now. I'm gonna put them in the header. So Gatsby config header head. So this is the head.js. I think I can put the style just here, and that should work, right? I think so. So we're gonna say style and put a bunch of stuff there and say, I think it needs to be done as a string for React to be happy. Like this. Okay, so we have all of the tweet styles. Now I'm going to deploy this, or I'm going to publish this as a temporary version of my platform. I think. Okay, let's see. npm publish, and we're going to see what happens. So this is kind of hard mode for testing. We're just gonna guess that it works and hope for the best. All right. So we're publishing. Then I'm gonna run it on serverlesshandbook.dev locally and see if it works, because I think that's reasonable. Yarn add Gatsby platform 2001. Fingers crossed. This is a big test. Wow, we've been going for almost 2 hours. It's been a while since I did a nice long stream. Okay, and now let's run yarn start and see if it works. This part might take a while, especially because my computer is pretty busy right now. What with all the streaming and stuff. Yeah, yarn start always takes time because it's building the entire site and everything. But you need to do it because, oh, god damn it. What's it complaining about? The following error appeared, assignment to constant variable. Huh? Okay, so I have a bug in my code. Now let's see. Static tweet Twitter embed JS 32 get app client assignment to constant variable in Twitter embed JS 21. Twitter embed JS 21. Oh, oh my god, I'm an idiot. This needs to be a let. You can't change constants. That was done. Let's try that again. So the reason I can't use hot reload right now, hold on, npm publish. So Mauni, the reason I can't use hot reload right now is that I am actually changing the platform, the Gatsby theme that I'm running on. So because I'm changing the Gatsby theme, I need to restart. I'm pretty sure I need to restart because I need to install new versions of the package. And then when you install new versions of the package, those don't get reloaded when you're using hot reloading, I think. Yeah, so basically, because I'm changing the actual packages that are being installed on my site, I need to rerun it to make sure that it reloads the new code. And um, I'm not actually sure, Ray. I think that you build the same number of pages on develop as you do on production, but it might actually, the way they run is different. So I don't know, actually. It might be doing it on demand. I would have to look into that. Okay, so it's installing. Let's see. It would be nice if installs ran faster as well. All right, yarn start. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, okay. It's going pretty fast though. It's not too bad. It's nice that the serverless handbook page is or site is relatively small. So it's not like if I start doing this on my blog, that takes forever. It's even on Gatsby Cloud, my blog takes like 20 minutes to build. Now what's wrong? Cannot read property length of undefined. Huzzah. Okay, length of undefined because not everything has media. That was another dumb thing that I did. Let's see. We do not need media HTML if it's empty. Tweet.includes.media. If that's defined, we do it. Otherwise, media HTML is empty. So go back. So this is also partially a stress test of my code because we're now running it on a bunch of different tweets instead of just on Adam's example that I used. So let's see. Okay. Add -3. Let's see. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bam. Ba-da-ba-da-bam-ba-bam. Okay. Yarn start, and now fingers crossed. I hope this time it works. And honestly, getting it wrong 2 or 3 times on the first try is pretty normal. So if it works now, I think that's going to be quite impressive, or at least I'm going to be impressed with myself. Let's see. Posture check. Oh. Okay, come on. Yeah, and I know it's bad radio when I'm just looking at the screen. When I'm just looking at the screen and waiting for something to happen. But I'm not that great yet at just blabbing on forever. You know, like when you see sports commentators when they just start telling stories about the different players or race car drivers or whatever when nothing's happening. Oh, tweet is not defined. What? Why is tweet not defined? Where did that happen? Um, why would tweet not be defined? So, and it's also not telling me where that happened. That's cool. Where would tweet potentially be undefined in here? Aha. So if get tweet fails, so if get tweet fails here, get tweet. So if there's no tweet, we need to let's see. If there is no tweet, I'm going to console log tweet not found, and based on the Twitter URL, tweet ID. Come on. So this is now just debugging info. I think it's still going to succeed the build, and we return an empty HTML. So actually, while that's still running, and I'm hoping that it's working in the background, I'm going to publish this so that we can then do a fast follow-up and try again. npm publish. Oh, nice. I've never been able to code if I listen to something that has... Actually, no, that's not true. I used to like coding and listening to movies in the background. But these days it's just music for me. Documentaries and movies are way too interesting, and they pull me in. Okay, so will this manage to work? It's building the development bundle. That's promising. And while it was running embeds, it only threw that one error, which was probably a malformed URL or something weird. We're going to find out on the next run. Now let's see if this works. I'm going to go grab more water in the meantime. Wow, to podcasts. What kind of podcast do you listen to when you're coding, Miha? That's impressive. I can only do podcasts when I'm running, or I guess when I'm doing chores. Come on, build the damn development bundle. You can do it. Aha. Mwah. Did. The following error appeared while processing that. Tweet is not defined. Okay, great. So I'm going to yarn add the one that ignores when tweets don't load. And we're going to try again. God. Also, I just realized this might actually have a negative impact on my yeah. Oh, what I was saying, sorry, I got distracted by the chat room. So what I was saying was that, so the original idea of building the tweet stuff was to improve performance, especially to improve Lighthouse scores, because I want them to be snappy and fast and all of that. And I don't want to load all of the Twitter stuff, and I don't want to load the Twitter iframes and tracking scripts. But I think now I have a problem that I'm going to be loading a bunch of very large images. So we're going to need to figure out a way to lazy load this stuff. And I think that the image tag now allows that on its own. So let's see. HTML image lazy load. I feel like I've written about that before. Browser level image load. There we go. Ah, yes. Adios, money. So Mooney, the reason the tweet is undefined is because here, when we are grabbing the tweet from the API, here, let's get tweet. If fetching the tweet fails, we don't return anything. Why is it still not defined? Okay, that's annoying. So we don't return anything, which then causes a problem. So I'm gonna try to return null here. And I think I also inverted the logic. And here we're gonna say the width is width, and we're gonna add, what is it? Loading equals lazy. Just while we're here real quick, so that we don't get the problem with, bad scores. Author image source loading equals lazy. Class media, build media list. We did that. Are there any other images? No. So why is tweet still not defined? So we're awaiting it. We're getting the tweet. But then it's not working. Oh, no, wait, so that should, okay, so let's try that. So it should be returning a thing, and we're gonna also do it here. Console log returning null for tweet ID. Okay, so maybe I didn't actually install the right thing, but we're gonna publish a new version anyway, and then try it. So Mooney, I'm not sure. I like your suggestion, but it's not how we usually do things in JavaScript. That's the whole point of throwing exceptions, is that you catch them, and then once you've caught the exception, you can work on, you can go into a different path. Now let's see. I'm going to install this and I'm going to run yarn clean to make sure that we're loading the actual part, or rather, blah. Sorry, my brain is getting blurry, but we're so close to getting this working. Okay, yarn clean. Now let's hope that if the tweet is not defined, or if it struggles to grab the tweet, it's at least going to tell us what's wrong. Yarn start, or it's at least going to console log some debugging information. So let's see. Come on, Gatsby develop. So it's loading the plugins and stuff. Let's see. Come on. Well, the problem with your approach, Mooney, is that if the tweet is of the wrong type, I still can't do anything with it. So there's literally there's nothing I can do. So like the problem isn't that the tweet is not defined. The problem is that why is my code not detecting that the tweet is not defined? Right? Because if it's not an actual tweet, then that's still going to be a problem. Now, if only I knew where is it actually saying that tweet is not defined. So let's see. Okay, we don't need fetch embed data. Fetch tweet from API. We have the tweet ID. We await client get. We return the tweet, returning null if the tweet is not there. Now that's a good idea. Build media list. Aha, it's here. The media list. This is where we got it wrong. It's because build media list was getting the media, not the tweet. That was a fun problem. It wasn't a problem with loading the tweet. It was a problem with using bad code. So let's see, are we doing that anywhere else? Nope, should be fine. Okay, so let's go to package.json 6 npm publish. Okay, and then we say yarn add 6. And I think this time it's actually going to work. And then I can go to get ready for my first meeting of the day. Yeah, Mooney, the problem was that I referenced an object that wasn't in scope in the function. And the error that we got was extremely unhelpful. Okay, yarn start. Let's see. So we added lazy loading to all of the images. That should be That should be useful. And then, yeah, let's see. So it's transforming nodes. It hasn't thrown an error yet so far. That's good. Now let's see if it's going to work. Okay. This is good progress. It looks like it's potentially working. Come on, computer. You got this. Wow. My computer is like, it sounds like it's about to take off. Come on. Oh, almost there. No worries. That's what I'm here for. I like having my brain picked while I'm doing stuff. Let's see. Wow. I'm getting pretty tired though. Oh, come on. We're so close. I have a meeting starting in just under 20 minutes. I should probably change out of my pajamas for that. Come on, computer, work faster. By the way, has there been any lagging or glitching on today's stream? Because I used to have a lot of problems with that, so I'm curious if it's getting better. Okay. No, this time it's not the daily stand-up, Micha. It's the full sprint, all of the sprint shenanigans, because we yesterday was the last day of sprint. So let's see. Localhost, will this load? Okay. So far, so good. Now let's go to the bottom. Okay. Testimonials are working. All of that is fine. Now, what do the tweets look like? Oh, whoa, whoa. These are my custom tweets. Nice. Look at that. Now, we need to put in some extra styling work. So this one got ignored, but I think this is looking pretty damn good. I'm almost down to just deploy this. Nice. All right. Yeah, it might need some extra little styling tweaks, but this works pretty well. So I'm going to, I feel like I want to just deploy this to production to see what it looks like there and to get my better Lighthouse scores. Okay, I might do that in a little bit. I do need to tweak a few things just to make it a little better. So that worked pretty well. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm going to have a what's it called? I'm gonna have a write up about this on my newsletter tomorrow, where I'm gonna talk more about why this is important and why it's cool, and see if it actually improves Lighthouse scores. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I plan to open source this. I might not do that by tomorrow, or I might. We'll see how my time goes. And on that note, bye.